What is going on, guys? Dub Gaming here, and this week I actually kept my promise. I'm going to do a downgrades video the day after the upgrades video. I know I didn't do one last week, so these are the second 5 players going to be predicting are going to be downgraded from NBA 2K16 to NBA 2K17. I know that the dynamic rating cards had upgrades and downgrades, but I think a lot of them are going to be a little bit different. So first of all, we've got Ty Lawson, who started this year as a gold player. Yep, he actually started as a gold player. Last year for Denver, so 2 years ago for Denver, he averaged 15.2 points per game, which was the third lowest of his career at that stage, and he was kind of on a bit of a downward spiral, even though he did average 9.6 assists per game, which is extremely good. This year, however, his points dropped to 5.7 points per game, which is mad. He dropped nearly 10 points a game and 6 assists a game, as he only averaged 3.6. He was a big trouble off the court, and was a bad influence in the locker room, which meant that the Houston Rockets just got rid of him. He was then signed by the Indiana Pacers, where he was even worse than he was in Houston, and only averaged 4.9 points per game. Ty Lawson's basketball career, if next season doesn't go well, could be done, and I'm going to think that he will be rated, even though his dynamic was a silver, as a 69 rated bronze, making him a downgrade from a gold to a bronze. So yeah, I think a 69 is well deserved. He had a terrible year, was terrible on and off the court, and he's only got the stats that an average bronze player would have, so why would he be rated any higher? Next up, we've got OJ Mayo, who started off as a 75 overall silver last year. He only averaged 7.8 points per game, which is not, you wouldn't think it would be that bad, but he only shot 37% from the field. Yep, he only shot 37%, the lowest of his career by a long way. This is mad considering that he was drafted over Russell Westbrook and Kevin Love, and in his rookie year averaged 18.5 points per game. He started 24 games for the Milwaukee Bucks, played 26 minutes a game, which is 26 minutes more than he probably should have. He was downgraded to a 71 in his dynamic rating, and again, I think that he could go down to a 69 rated bronze. He'll probably stay as a silver, but I'm going to be a little bit bold with this prediction and predict that he's going to be a 69 rated bronze. So he had a very, very inefficient scoring. He shot badly from the 3-point line, even though he shot a lot of them. And in general, he doesn't deserve to be anything higher than a bronze. Maybe they're going to make him a silver because he had been good previously in his career. He was good, very good in his first few years with Memphis, and when he went to Dallas he was good, so they might give him a higher rating based on that, but on merit he should be a bronze. Next up, we've got Rudy Gay, who started off as an 83 rated silver and his dynamic went down to an 80. He had statistics wise, he had a decent season. He averaged 17.2 points per game, started every game for the Kings, and shot 46% from the field. But if you think about it this way, it was the least he's averaged in his career since his rookie year. Rudy Gay has been a 20 point per game scorer, 19-20 point per game scorer his entire career. But there was a reason Memphis traded him. There was a reason Toronto traded him. He's not a great team player. And if you look at it, he was the third best player after Boogie and Rajon Rondo on the Kings, who sucked. The Kings were awful last year. And they had 3 players. They had a sort of a big 3. And they still sucked. So I think that Rudy Gay is going to be downgraded one more to a 79 rated silver, because Rudy Gay had been kept up as a gold, I think, because he was relevant. He was a big scorer on bad teams, and even when he was a big scorer on good teams like with the Grizzlies, they were better without him. The Grizzlies were better after they traded for Tayshaun Prince. The Raptors were better when they got nobody for him. The Raptors actually got better from getting rid of their top scorer. That's how inefficient Rudy Gay is. So yeah, he's pretty much irrelevant to any successful team. He's irrelevant in the NBA, and he will be irrelevant in my team as a 79 overall silver next year. So we've got Marc Gasol, who started off as an 87 overall gold. Was he the best center? I'm not 100% sure. I think he was the best center ratings wise, along with Boogie in the NBA, but he got injured. I know it's a little bit harsh to downgrade him based on an injury, but he didn't have his best season He only shot 46% from the field, which is mad considering the fact that he's a centre and he's close to the basket a lot. His effective field goal percentage was no better since he shot no threes. He did shoot 83% from the line, but he didn't get to the line as often as he had been. And he averaged one of his lowest points. He averaged less points than he did the year before. He only averaged 7 rebounds a game, which for someone that's 7 foot is not great. And he did only average 1.3 blocks per game. So overall, I think Marc Gasol is going to be downgraded to an 84 overall. He could, even though I think, was he an 83 or an 82 in his dynamic rating card? I can't see him dropping that much because he didn't have that bad a year. The Grizzlies still did make the playoffs as the 6th seed, I think. And then they ended up losing to the, 7th seed, and they ended up getting swept by the Spurs. But to be honest, they were always going to get swept if Marc Gasol was injured and and Mike Conley got injured. But yeah, an 84 overall I think is going to be fair for Marc Gasol next year. Last but not least, we've got probably the one I'm most disappointed to have to say. It's an obvious downgrade, and it's Tim Duncan, who started as an 87 overall last year after being 90 the previous few years. He went from averaging 13.9 points per game to this year only averaging 8.6. He did play 60 games, but he shot less than 50% from the field. He only shot 70% from the free throw line, which is his worst since 2012, the lockout year. He's a very up and down free throw shooter, and this year was one of his weaker years. He did average 7.3 rebounds per game, which is decent, but he only averaged 1.3 blocks per game, which was the lowest of his career. So overall, I think that he could be downgraded to a silver. I hope 2K don't do it, but it's definitely possible. But I think that because he's Tim Duncan, because of his legacy, because of his 5 rings, 4 finals MVP, 5 rings, 3 finals MVPs, my bad, that he's going to be an 80 overall gold who will go down to a silver in the first dynamic rating update next year. So just stick with that 80 rating gold. Get the last out of Tim Duncan. He's probably got one more year, him and Ginobili. So hopefully the Spurs can win it so that they can go out on a high. So yeah, a little bit more energetic now that I'm not talking about Duncan being downgraded. But that's it. I know there's a lot more players that are going to be downgraded. There's some obvious ones that aren't in this video and weren't in my last video. So if you think any other player is going to be downgraded, leave it in the comments. I'm going to be doing this probably every week with an upgrades video on the Saturday and a downgrades video on the Sunday, or vice versa. So anyway, as always, thanks for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe.